Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, it is the real estate recap, top news stories of the week, and we're going to be covering over some of the top real estate related news stories of the week and how they impact you and those around you. I hope you all are having a great evening. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Ladies and gentlemen, it is always a pleasure to see you. I am Hugo Quintanilla, your local realtor licensed in Maryland with Long and Foster, North Potomac, Rockville. This is your space every day, 15 to 20 minutes a day, to learn a little bit more about real estate and how it can benefit you and those around you. For more details on how to buy, sell, lease, or invest, go ahead and scan that QR code up on top. If you would like to see a more higher definition version of the stream, go and check out the YouTube channel at that QR code. And if you guys don't have any objections, I will get started because this week is quite a week. I will forever remember Pi Day because that was the day the industry changed. But let's see what happened this week. I don't want to lead with that, but I think I might have to lead with that. Uh, yeah, we're going to have to lead with that, ladies and gentlemen. So, real estate lawsuit settlement upends decades long policies that helped set agent commissions. This was on March 15th, actually, the day after Pi Day. NAR lawsuit settlement. A lawsuit settlement by the National Association of Realtors, NAR, could significantly impact seller commissions. U.S. News and World Report. There are a lot of details still left to iron out when it comes to this new settlement. But in essence, both sides would pay for their own costs of using a realtor. Does not mean that, there is any less benefit for using a realtor, but the custom of sellers uh, customarily offering a buyer's commission um, is now something that is going to be separate from the MLS. It was once put on the multiple list server to have transparency in the industry, so all the agents knew how much was being offered and what the commission was gonna be. But it was custom that when you came in as a buyer, you didn't have to pay for your agent because the seller paid for it, and that was just kind of a custom of the business. But now this will be removed. The MLS will no longer put, you know, this specific commission. From my understanding, there can be some notations of whether or not a seller would like to offer a commission. And don't forget that it will always benefit having commissions available. But, with anything that is in process of litigation, there is always liquidity and fluidity in what's happening. So at the moment, it's more or less a proposal of a settlement that still needs to be confirmed. But there are some points that, you know, basically will restructure the way commissions are done. As always, there are some things that have not changed. The way that realtors serve the public, the way that you can always negotiate your rates and commissions with your realtor, and the way that brokerages will represent their clients. So it's just going to be, you know, something that's probably going to really hit the fan come July. But this proposal of settlement will really stop a lot of further litigation and stop dragging this on, and hopefully stop some of these copycat lawsuits, and um, hopefully put a finale to this cloud that's been over the association for a while. So, number two, a rising inventory. Housing inventory is expected to increase in 2024, potentially leading to a shift in sellers market. And this was on Housing Wire. The title was Housing Inventory Could Grow 40% this year. We are hopeful that we are going to see a surge of buyers, well, a surge of sellers for several reasons. And I think one of the biggest ones to look at will be actually the interest rates. It's going to be really interesting to see where interest rates, when it comes to insurance and all these other things, where they land on pushing people out of properties. Because what I'm personally am noticing more than anything else is that there's a push, unfortunately, um, with inflation and also the cost of living in certain areas, where people just simply cannot afford to live there. It is simply becoming too costly, and that's always happened. There's always been people that have had to move from one place to another, but we're starting to see these changes, big changes of insurance rates and coverage, and companies moving out of areas. I think we're going to see a collapse of a lot of the smaller organizations being absorbed in by the larger ones. But at the end of the day, I think that, as long as you are doing your due diligence and working with tried and true reputable companies and individuals, I think you can't go wrong. So that's really, something that with anything is you got to keep in mind, working with trustworthy people. Number three, spring buyer surge. New listings are increasing as we head into spring, potentially attracting buyers who've been waiting on the sidelines. Housing Wire. This again just highlights how much the market has changed because of inventory. A little bit of inventory in certain markets has really helped to get people out there, but we're still not seeing as many applications, as the rates are still as high as they've been. And that was new listing surge as the spring buying season approaches. Number four, 2024 homebuyer sentiment survey, and this was on U.S. News and World Report. Mortgage rates. Despite a recent dip, mortgage rates remain a hurdle for some buyers, but some potential buyers, due to higher monthly payments. Like I just mentioned, it really is becoming the catch 22 of the situation. We have a lot of pent up demand, um, but we don't have a lot of supply. Now that we're getting a little bit more supply, we still have this high quotient on this interest rate that is really making it tough for a lot of people to qualify. We could see rates as low as 6% by the end of the year, but we are already through March. Can you wait 9 more months? And would you want to? Because the really cost of waiting is what you have to qualify more than anything else for the next little bit. Most of these homes are appreciating 7 to 12%, it seems like. And really, when you get more granular into certain areas, at least locally here, at their lowest, they're doing 3%. So it's a pretty good method of investment to have real estate. It always has been, and it's a great way to stay stable in any economy. So maybe something to think about when it comes to your future plans with your money. Number five, study. Homeowner associations are booming. This was on Realtor Magazine, National Association of Realtors. Um, HOA growth. The number of HOA associations, HOAs, is expected to grow in 2024, adding to association costs, to home ownership costs. And this is very true. That's yet another thing that homeowners have to put on their expense list. Now we're gonna start to see a lot more of smaller investors start to maybe lease their properties, but some of these properties will never go to sale again. So it's very interesting to see how the ebb and flow of properties has been even as little as 5 years ago. Number six, rising home insurance costs are adding pressure for buyers. In insifying, insurifying, um, and this was on Housing Wire. So with that one, raising home rising home insurance costs are adding another layer of pressure for potential home buyers. We mentioned it at the top of the broadcast. It really is a huge pressure when you're seeing that rate go up 200 to maybe $800 extra. It can be a lot, and there's no going around it. You have to have those payments, but the money isn't there. So insurance has just gotten ridiculous, and it's unfortunately just the increase of fatalities because of people going back to work, the increase of property damage because of huge events and disasters, and just the cost of these rates and materials, and what's happening in these markets. It's really fascinating to see what's happening in insurance, and I wish we could have someone speak on it a little bit more. Probably be a great idea. Number seven, 20. Oh, excuse me. 2024 homebuyer sentiment. A survey reveals that many potential homebuyers are waiting for mortgage rates to come down before entering the market. And that's US News and World Report. Again, talking about the sentiment that homebuyers are having. A lot of people are just waiting. That's why we're telling most people to get financially fit and then get ready and stable so that when they're capable and able, they can just jump in and purchase that next home. If you wait till interest rates go down, I you can mark my words right now, and the competition is going to be higher. It's just the way of the system and how it works. When you have lower interest rates, you have huge amount of demand, and when you have higher interest rates, demand is low. But it also varies on supply. And that's been the biggest challenge and hurdle we've had these last couple of years. Number eight. While inventory level rises, focus shifts to energy efficient homes. And this is on National Real Estate News. Um, Focus on energy efficient homes is a sustainability as sustainability concerns grow, there's a rising focus on energy efficient homes in the market. And it just goes without saying, more and more people are trying to be savvy with their money, trying to think about the future, trying to be a little bit more green with their green. And it's a smart thing to do, to think about the future. Now, I will be talking tomorrow actually about solar panels because there have been a ton of solar panel news recently in my local area. So I think it's worthwhile to talk a little bit about solar panels and how they can benefit you. But, you know, energy efficiency is a great selling point. So don't shy away from these technologies when you see them available, and invest in them when you can. Number nine. Urban exodus slows down as people moving back to big cities, and that was on Redfin. Urban exodus slowdown. The exodus from major cities like Los Angeles and New York may be slowing down as some return to urban centers. We're seeing a little bit of a stop in that because people can't purchase. So people are staying put. They're going to be leasing for another year or two and then probably back out there again. I wouldn't be surprised if in 2 years, probably by 2026, you're going to have another surge of buyers or renters going back out into the market just because they decided to pause from 2023, probably the end of 2023 to the beginning of 2024. And it happens every 2 years. So without fail. So when you get ready, when you can, just try to, budget, try to get your savings under control and make progress there, because when you are ready, when you do have to make that switch the next time, you can go out into the market and check out what you have available. Especially now, if using a realtor will go at the cost of the client, then it's yet another thing that we'll have to pay for. So um budgeting, making sure you're financially fit, is really the best way to purchase a home in any economy, in any situation. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be number 10: live work spaces, the hottest trend you need to know about. And this was the real deal. Focus on live workspaces. The demand for live workspaces designed for those working remotely is on the rise in some areas. So this is again a new kind of flex space that we're seeing with people using to be able to have this ability to work remote if they need to, while still being, relatively close to these properties and spaces. We're seeing tons of people move back because of going back to the office. So we've seen patterns change, especially when a lot of jobs were brought back to base. So as work from home has ended, these live work spaces have really become more and more important in these apartments and high rises to make sure that people have the amenities that they need, like high speed internet, good soundproofing, good technology, good computers if they need the printers. These are all things that they might welcome. So that's about the gist of it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry I'm a little bit down. It's just really, more than anything else, that verdict from NAR is quite a doozy to process. So I have a comment here from Ruby. Yes, definitely. All supply and demand. When mortgage rates, buying a home becomes more affordable, with increased affordability, increased demand. Even if someone buys at a high rate, they can always refinance when rates drop. So long term, it might not always be a bad thing. Very, very true. It might not always be a bad thing. I'm glad I bought my house during COVID, during the small window of getting a low rate, and right before my house value increased, I assume. Expect my HOA, except my HOA keeps increasing every year. And that's what we've been seeing out there, Ruby. Thank you so much for that. It's very, very true. Congratulations, by the way, on purchasing during that small window. It was shocking how low the rates got, and to have people go out there and purchase homes during that time was crazy. We were having people purchase 50, 60, $70,000 over, and it was a bidding war. I wouldn't have recommended that time for anyone, because it really was very difficult and disheartening for people that didn't have the extra reserves at the time. But more than anything else, it is really something that may not happen again. Probably won't in our lifetimes. So, the best thing that we can prepare ourselves for is for the time that we're ready, then that we have to level up, so to speak, go to the next step and actually buy a home. You can't just live in your parents' place forever. It's just not feasible. It never has been. Through the history of time, from the dawn of man and caveman, we've eventually moved out of our parents' cave to go to another cave and find out. So get informed, get knowledgeable about what is going on in your area when it comes to real estate and in your finances, and learn where your money is going, how you can make more money, how you can maximize your money, and where you can save, where there are things you can maybe cut out in your home, where you can take benefits, where you can actually get involved in your HOA to maybe cut out some of those fees. There's some legislation that's actually being put in place right now to help combat some of that, but it's few and far between, and it's kind of hard to really pinpoint the problem sometimes, because if no one says anything, no one gets involved, no one really you know does anything. It's the squeaky wheel is the one that gets the oil. It's never the other way around. So um you have to participate, you have to be active, you have to go out there and do, and the HOA is a great way to maintain values. And I know how much of a business person Ruby is. I'm pretty sure she's going to hold on to that property forever and lease it out and refinance when she can. So doing smart moves like that when the opportunity arises is also a great way to build generational wealth. And that's really what the game is. It's not just about saving and building up this stack of money to just shove away in your savings account. That's probably the worst thing that you can do with your savings. So enjoy. I hope you all have a great week. I am your realtor, Hugo. If you joined us late in the stream, the top real estate news stories of the week were: the real estate lawsuit settlement upends decades long policies that helped set agents' commissions. That was US News and World Report. Housing inventory could grow 40% this year. That was Housing Wire. New listings surge at the spring buying season approaches. That was again Housing Wire. 2024 Home Buyer Sentiment Survey. That was on US News and World Report. The study: homeowners associations are booming. It was on Realtor Magazine, National Association of Realtors. And then rising home insurance costs are adding pressure for buyers, and that was in Housing Wire. For number 7, we had 2024 home buyer sentiment, again by US News and World Report. That was the actual report. And then number 8, while inventory levels rise, focus shifts to energy efficient homes. And that was on National Real Estate News. For number 9, we had urban exodus slows down. Are people moving back to big cities? That was on Redfin. And last for this week, we had spaces live workspaces, sorry, the hottest trend you need to know about. And that was on The Real Deal. Again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, I hope that you all have a great start to your week this week. Really, it is probably the best way to get started after St. Patrick's Day. I hope you all drank your water and had your tea after the festivities. And yeah, have fun. I will see you all tomorrow. Take care. And yeah, we'll be talking about solar panels tomorrow. So come through, share the live, and have fun. I'm Hugo with Long and Foster. If you need anything, 240-389-4846. My email is hugo@lnf.com, and my website is yourrealtorhugo.com. So again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for all of this. Let's stay positive out there. Let's have a great day and a great week. And thank you all for tuning in, and can't wait to help you out with your next home. We'll see you soon. Take care.